I got a phone call from a lady who had been advised by the nursing home that her dad was in, that he wasn't long for this world. And one of my first questions was, what do you have in mind? And she said, I guess we'll go to Rookwood. And I said, why are we going to Rookwood? Oh, because isn't that what you do? At 20 minutes later, after a conversation about possibility and finding out about him, she said, is it really bad to say that I'm a bit excited? So what happened was, her mother had passed away, and a few years before, and her dad had dementia, and the family farm had been sold and it was settling in 3 weeks. So I said, why don't we have it on the farm? But of course it meant that he had to pass before the settlement. I said, well, not necessarily, because the farm's quite big and surely we could talk to the new owners about possibly just using a space on the farm. Anyway, she really bought into the idea of having this service on the farm. Anyway, he passed away. And the weekend before the settlement, we held this fabulous funeral, and I went up to their farm at Kurrajong, and being a caterer as well, I took up some food for the afternoon tea, and I'd found out that his favourite meal was roast, and he was very English. So I took a roast dinner with gravy, and I made Yorkshire puddings and vegetables so that they could heat them later, because they hadn't emptied the house out yet. And then we had an afternoon tea, and it was really hot. So I took up a marquee, 6x3. There was about 15, 16 people, and I put up some shade. Well, when I got there, they had a dam. We had a tractor that we put out, and we just strung like a string and pegged some photos onto it, because we didn't have an outdoor screen or anything. And then we used the chairs from the house. So a collection of chairs under this marquee, and we put it so that we could see the dam. And the flowers, I sent the family off and said, go pick the flowers from the farm. So that the casket was covered in flowers from the farm, and he had made some furniture over the years, and one of the things was a coffee table that was really solid and quite long, so we actually put the casket on that coffee table. We had the tractor behind, and for some reason I asked for something and they opened the garage door. Inside the garage was an TF or TC, MGTC. So I grew up with an MG family, and I'm like, get that car out. So we had the car, the tractor and his casket and the dam and his flowers. And it was wonderful. And then we had the little grandson mowing the lawn, with his plastic lawnmower. But it was incredibly authentic, and it was fabulous that he was on his farm and he was taken in the car from the farm. And I'd found out during the conversation that he loved the whiskey drink, Dimple Scotch, and I can't think of the name of it, but I took the ingredients and I had a tray. You can see it on the website, there's a story about it. And we all, even me, we had a shot to celebrate him as he went off. And then we left them there with the food. I left them there with roast dinner to heat up that night. And it was wonderful because it was incredibly authentic. And if we hadn't had that conversation, or they hadn't have come to me possibly, they would have had a 45-minute conversation in a chapel at Rookwood, and that would have been it. So that's what I love to do, is really dig deep and to find out what would really be authentic.